It's a good time to be a Boston fan.
when it comes to
The last 15 years of your life, the amount of championships you've seen.
Yeah. From the Patriots. To
Have you seen those
Red
parades
Sox.
where it's like I'm 10 and I've seen
Yeah.
like 7 championships?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, we were raised in the wrong part of the world.
For real, in terms of North American
Yeah.
sports.
I don't like any of the Boston teams though, to be honest.
I've only seen one parade. No, 2. I don't remember the one when the Blue Jays
Oh, okay.
won.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Are you counting TFC?
Yeah, of course.
You were alive. That was not a parade.
Yes, it was. I don't care what you call it.
That was not a parade.
That's that piece of audio that I need to get.
That is a poor excuse of a parade.
Well, listen.
It was better than the Argos. Do the Argos have a parade?
Do the Argos still play?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at BMO.
Oh.
They're the winning team there.
Oh.
They had to have a better. Check their record. Check their record. If they're
Who has a better record at BMO Field last season?
Yeah, I'm serious.
No,
The Argos are terrible.
We
They
won more games
suck.
at BMO Field than they did.
They
I
suck.
just want to know if they were over 500.
At home?
No, just in general.
No.
No,
Who?
the Argos.
TFC or the Argos?
The Argos. I want to know if they were over 500.
They were shit.
They were?
Yeah.
Yeah, they suck.
Okay, fine. You get a pass. Because I was going to say, I was going to pose a question as to who is the best team playing out of BMO Field.
Oh my god,
It's Monday. That's how you know.
we're dumb.
What do you mean? That's a serious. Sorry, Dan. That's our parade.
Yeah. I consider it a parade.
No,
Really?
Parade is like a top North American
They
team.
didn't shut down the streets,
They did.
did they?
Yeah. Right up young.
Did they?
How many
Oh.
people would you say is there?
Took too long.
Actually, I don't know.
More people. Okay, I was gonna say more people than fit in BMO, but I would assume that to be
Yeah.
a fact. I hope so.
Yeah.
More than 30,000 people?
No.
No.
There was like 500 max.
I was gonna be generous and say 1,000.
Oh, you're sick.
That's not a parade.
Yeah.
Because if the Leafs win or the Raptors win or the Jays win,
the city shut down for a day.
you're talking about like 100,000 people.
Yeah,
in the
but
streets.
there's more history.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Is there? For the Leafs, yeah.
Yeah, and the Blue
Do
Jays.
you think Boston's shutting down if the New England Revolution win a MLS trophy?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Are you kidding me?
I'm saying that, but that's to my point.
That'd
that
be
means,
crazy.
That means that TFC is relevant in the city.
How many people were at that Atlanta parade?
Lots.
I believe there maybe been a lot of people there.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like,
Yeah.
that's a parade.
Yeah.
But why is that? Why is that?
Because we have 3 other teams in the city that have been around longer than. I don't know.
We have 3 teams in the city that don't win. The city should like crave a winner.
Which leads me to believe that there's a problem with the fans that live in the core of the city.
So I think that's a fact. I think
But-
everybody knows that.
But I think the parade was done on the wrong day too. It was like a Thursday of a midweek, or Thursday is midweek. It was Thursday at like noon or 2:00. I forget what. That's poor on TFC's part too.
My
Should've done
question
on a
is
Saturday.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess.
they value downtown traffic as opposed to a TFC parade.
Yeah, exactly.
They shut it down for one of those marathon runs.
Yeah.
Not for TFC.
Just lock down the whole city. Damn, man. No, but there's a big problem with the fan base here. There's no loyalty. When everything's good, then everyone's rocking.
I think that's always been the case.
In every city?
I
Or
can't
just here?
speak for other cities, but I think that's always been the case in Toronto.
Yeah.
Like when the Jays were shit, they were shit.
Yeah.
Nobody was watching those games. You could have went to a game for $2
Yeah.
and still went out to eat and shit.
Yeah. People are just going to those games to drink.
Exactly, and sit wherever you wanted to sit
Yeah.
because half the stadium was empty. But when they went on that 2-year stretch,
Oh,
you couldn't get a ticket
No.
into that.
Yeah.
But I
Everybody cared.
But I think even when the problem is the fans in the city in general. I don't think it's just TFC fans. I think it's a problem in general.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Leaf fans are just retarded. They're sheep.
Wow.
Just mindless sheep.
I hope they're all watching.
I
this.
hope so too.
I'm adding you to any
But-
Leaf convo.
Yeah.
The Leafs, if out of all of them, are the diehards.
No, I think they're the dumbest.
No, because they'll come back year after year expecting different result.
Yeah. Well, see those two go hand in hand. Those
Yeah,
two go
but
hand in
if
hand.
that's what you're asking out of a fan base.
Yeah,
I'd rather have them
yeah,
be
that's-
the idiots than the fair weather fans that aren't showing up to BMO Field this season.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you want a fan base. A fan base has to go through the mud, and then you gotta
Yeah.
get out of the mud, right?
Yeah.
If anyone deserves anything, it's that Leaf fan base.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
a little bit of success, a couple playoff runs.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's why I hate them.
Because you know deep down they deserve something.
Yeah. I don't care if you deserve anything.
Since 67, the biggest market,
Yeah.
one of the biggest hockey markets, hasn't been able to win a trophy.
Yeah. No, the Raptors got to win before them. I swear to God, the Raptors got to win before
The
them.
Raptors are getting to the end of their run too.
Yeah.
It might be the end of their run.
If Masai's smart enough to, Masai could keep it going.
When does he give up? And he's just like,
That's the biggest question that I have, because that's when you have to start questioning what happens next. But I feel like as long as he's around, then they could work things out, because they were supposed to tank it a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
I think he's probably been one of their best GMs for a long time. Actually, you could even argue he's probably been
The best.
GM.
well, he's had the most success, no?
Yeah.
But I'm not just talking about in all of that MLSE franchise. He's kept that team relevant for
Yeah, it's
what,
been a good one.
6
Like 5 years, 6 years.
5,
Yeah.
6 years.
They-
Like, that's-
Competitive.
They should not have Kawhi Leonard. I'm just gonna say it. So they should not have Kawhi Leonard.
you know.
Period.
But I think the more success the Raptors have, the more they're able to bring in guys like Kawhi. Like 5, 6 years ago, you think Kawhi Leonard would have came to the Raptors?
Not a chance.
No.
Exactly. Hey.
And you know what?
I don't think the Toronto market will ever get to that point where it'll be the number one destination or even top 5 destinations.
No. And the Leafs
regardless
are,
of how good they are.
the Leafs are lucky that John Tavares was born here, and he wanted to come back home. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been landing him. And that's where, because there's a lot of Canadians who play and who were born in
that's why-
Ontario,
Yeah, of course.
they would like to go back and play.
Well,
for
like
Toronto.
Marner and stuff, he might take a pay
Damn.
cut. He'll take a pay cut to play here because he's a
Yeah.
local kid.
Exactly.
That's where the difference between the NHL and the NBA is, because a lot of our players are local.
Yeah.
Local-ish,
Exactly.
because they know the magnitude of playing for the Leafs.
Right.
You play for the Leafs, you're in a different world.
Yeah.
Somebody who plays on the third line in Washington isn't walking down the street and probably getting recognized by 90% of the people.
Yep.
Zach Hyman walks down the street, everybody knows who he is.
I don't.
See, that's my point.
Yeah.
Somebody maybe who's watched 2 games throughout
Exactly.
the season,
Yeah.
in total.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of what it is here.
Any of those little Leafs walk around the city. I don't know who any of them are. I don't want your autograph.
You know Austin. You know Austin.
You know what? Honestly, if Austin Matthews walked by me, I actually probably would know.
You wouldn't?
No.
Yo, Austin got finesse. You guys got to do something about this whole hockey contract thing. Because I'm looking at what basketball players are getting made.
It's nuts.
And Austin
Yeah.
Matthews, Austin Matthews ain't getting shit.
He's like a 4th string bench player in terms
Yeah.
of salary
He's
in the
getting, like,
NBA.
he's getting like G League contract.
That TNT money is crazy.
Good, yeah, man.
That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
that the TV rights, right?
I'm tired of talking about those losers. Hopefully they do better this year. Hopefully they win because they didn't win a playoff series last year, right?
No, it's 2
No.
back-to-back years where they've
So
gone
this is the
out in
goal.
first
This is the
round.
goal to win this
Yeah,
year.
you have
Yeah.
to.
Okay.
At least one,
Yeah.
which is crazy, but
Yeah. The faster my guy Babs gets the hell out of here, because I don't want him here to win, then the
Oh, yeah,
better it
that's
is for
right. He
me.
was with your team.
Yeah. Shout out to Babs. Real one. He's a real one. I saw what the Leafs try to do. Get Babs. Get Brendan. Smart moves.
hey, you got to pillage whoever's winning.
Yeah, smart moves.
Because your Detroit team's not doing very well.
That's fine.
Well, when you go 20 years of just success,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult to
Yeah, we
continue to replicate that.
kind of got to.
That city needs some success.
They'll be
Oh.
back.
The city or the teams?
I don't care about the city. I never lived
Sorry,
there.
Flint.
Yeah. It's all good. They'll be back sooner than you expect. And yeah, I was trying to figure out more about TFC because,
Oh, sorry.
but we'll talk about that. They play this week.
They play on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm not coming to wherever you invited me to later
Is
on.
that game 1 of the
Yes.
CCL?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. In Panama.
In Panama.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, what 11 guys are playing that game?
Yeah, that's a great question.
I know. I can't wait to see.
I wish I could name them to you.
I can't wait.
I just know Michael Bradley's in the lineup.
And Dan thinks I'm going to miss that live. I got
Yeah.
the popcorn ready.
Yeah,
Got-
you're definitely missing. You're definitely coming to co-ed before
I-
watching that game.
I need the laugh.
Is it a late start?
Probably.
What, the game or co-ed?
No.
No, we
I
don't
care about co-ed, Dan. Even though a lot of the people listen, I don't care about your co-ed team, Dan.
I think it's 8 p.m. kickoff.
Okay, that might work for us.
It's on TSN.
No, it doesn't. It 100% doesn't.
Well, while you do something, I can watch
Yeah,
it.
you can watch it.
And then when we reverse, you can watch it on replay.
Yeah. Anyways,
At least it's televised.
Oh.
That's a start.
Yeah.
And then that's going to lead to the Canadian Premier League, who still have they announced anything yet
No.
before we get into like stuff that matters?
No.
No?
Not that I know of. I think the schedule is coming soon, but
It's going to get to a point where I'm going to have to message Curtis.
they got a team in that the Voyagers Cup. Like they got a spot.
They have teams in it, right?
They have
Yeah,
teams in it.
so
Yeah.
I want to see them
how do you give in teams a spot that you've never even seen play one time?
No idea.
I don't know.
It's nuts.
Sometimes they get blown out.
Like they should have. How did you choose the team? Is everybody in it?
Everybody's in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
there's
fair.
It's like a tree. It's like a tree. It's almost like the.
It's like the first and second round of the FA Cup that they don't televise, and then we get to
that
the
makes
third,
sense.
and then
That's right.
So there's gonna be some dodgy stream to watch. Watch them play. If that.
But they
don't even show Ottawa Fury on TV.
No.
So why are those teams gonna get put on TV?
But I don't think they have a
broadcast deal.
No.
Really.
Well, apparently that was big news that was supposed to come out at some point that they were working on that.
Well, and they haven't announced yet. I don't know if they.
The jerseys,
Yeah.
schedule.
Hey, come on,
They're giving us rosters.
come
but
on, Tim Hortons Clan-a-chan. That's his name, right? Tim Hortons Dave. What did we call him last week?
Timmy's
Timmy's
or
Dave?
Timmy's whatever. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't remember
come
what
on,
we
Timmy's
called him.
Dave. Let's get it going. Don't make me message Curtis. I'm gonna have to message him at some point.
I'm gonna ask him for an update
Yeah, and I want an answer back
immediately.
Yeah,
Because you know he stays on Twitter.
Yeah, answering
that's his job.
answering all the people that don't matter about issues that don't matter. Like when is this coming out? It is. The clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's scheduled for April, so you're 2 months out.
Yeah.
You don't know who's playing when.
And I don't know what's happening. I guess maybe we should just go on their site and delve in a bit. But maybe that's what he wants to do.
Well, who's the guy that they're linked with now?
Diego Forlan.
Oh,
There it
stop
is.
this, man.
That goes against everything that they were preaching at the beginning of this whole process. But
Exactly.
it is what it is. I want to give him a chance at least
Why?
because it's a local product.
Okay.
That's why I'll give him it. I want to give them a chance.
Oh, I thought you were saying you want to give Forlan a chance.
Oh no,
Like-
him no.
No.
Okay, that's why.
Well, that's a waste of time at this point.
No.
What is he coming here for? Go play for Orlando City with Nani.
They got to sell tickets. Realistically.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
And that's been the biggest problem. Not the biggest problem. That's the biggest question: is can they sell enough tickets to make it have this
Profitable.
be longevity?
Because I think the first couple games, people will come to see
The first month, I think people will just the hype.
Oh, the first month.
Just a hype.
Okay, you've
Because
given them more than I've.
maybe certain places like Hamilton will sell out the first game, maybe
Yeah.
sell out the second game, depending on if it's on a weekend or whatever. I mean,
Right.
I hope they put these games on weekends.
Yeah.
And then by the third and the fourth game, that's when you're really going to start to see who's coming and who's not.
No, they have to be on weekends. Because ain't no one trying to drive through the city.
No.
Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
They're smart.
Because how does BMO look during the week at those games? Probably not packed.
People funnel in late.
Funnel in late. Yeah.
Yeah.
Extremely late.
And at least BMO has that train that's like you can take the GO train to exhibition. In Hamilton, for example, they're playing at what the hell is that stadium called?
Is it Tim Hortons Field?
Yeah, Tim
Aren't
Hortons
you?
Field.
I'm not even
I was
Timmy's
gonna
Dave's
call
Field.
it Ivor Wynn still.
I'm not gonna go that far.
But like Ivor Wynn is downtown Hamilton. There's honestly no way. There's no transportation to get there. So if you want to come to see a midweek CPL game, like you got to drive right through downtown Hamilton, which is not downtown Toronto, but it's still busy with traffic at that time of the city.
So that's got to be mostly local fans then.
Yes.
You're not going to have very many
No.
away fans.
No.
That doesn't even sound appealing. Midweek game.
Yeah.
Midweek CPL game
No.
in Hamilton.
On a Tuesday night, I'd rather go watch Dan's co-ed team than.
Hey. All right.
Just yo, hey,
I had to save myself.
You made me slander. Yeah, I'm gonna slander
to
the
save
co-ed.
face. I had to
You're gonna
save
make
face.
You're gonna make me slander the co-ed team.
Yeah. Jeez.
I don't know about that, fam.
No,
you know
but
what?
there's still way too many questions to be answered, and we're 2 months away.
And I don't know I don't know. You know what? I'm going to say Calgary is going to be in the same situation. Hamilton doesn't have too many teams, but they have the Tiger Cats that actually get a decent amount of fans. If you're having it on a Saturday, you better have it at not the same time that the Ticats play. If they play on a Sunday, because people are not going to come out to the Saturday and to
the
the
Sunday.
Sunday.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Right?
They got to do the CPL before the Tiger Cats. You get in for free, or you pay an extra $10 and you get the ticket.
Stop giving them ideas.
Hey,
Don't stop
hire
giving
me.
them ideas.
Hire me,
You
CPL.
guys trying to get a job? Just let me know.
A 2-for-1 package.
Okay, I'm tired about talking about these teams that
Don't matter.
I don't want to say that.
No, we still don't know yet. I guess
I kind of know, but I'm not going to say anything.
I'm holding out hope.
I'm waiting for Timmy's Dave and Curtis to get it together before I say something. So we'll leave it there.
Are they going to fire festival us? Can you imagine? Everybody shows up. There's no team. They sold 1,000 jerseys.
Timmy's Dave flees the country.
Curtis's jaw.
Yo, he's gonna fight us one day. They ever hear this? They're gonna fight us.
We're not getting into any of these games.
I don't care. I don't want to watch it. I don't watch
that's
it
great.
But anyways, it's Monday. Best day of the 7 days of the week. I love Mondays. It's family day. We're not with our families.
Yeah, we are.
I consider you guys my family.
You guys
I'm
are
with my InnerViews family.
You guys are corny. We survived the snow, that touchdown. It's cold, but we still made it here. Family day is not going to stop us from doing what we do best.
Did you bring a jacket?
Of course, I brought a jacket.
Good. Listen to Kawhi.
Jeez.
No comment about Kawhi. But yeah, guys, it's that time. We talked about apologies to anyone who doesn't live in the city of Toronto or in Canada who had to endure that 20-minute segment on whatever the hell we were talking
I'm cutting
about.
all of it out.
Yeah, they're like, we didn't come here for this. We don't care what Canada's doing. They suck at soccer. They have igloos.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, that's what they think.
I hope in 2019 people don't think all Canadians live in igloos.
And we live underground.
There's a thing called Google, I would hope.
No, 100%. Well, actually, yeah, there's some parts. Probably.
I have a funny story about that, but I'll tell it off camera.
Yeah, I think you. if you don't, then we're gonna be cut in time. This is gonna be a 5-hour podcast. Love it, and since you guys seem like you're in the mood, I'm in the mood. I love Mondays. It wasn't that busy of a weekend, so yeah, let's kind of get into it. No gunshots from Fabs, no nothing. Fabs, set the mood, man.
Jeez.
Set the mood. Didn't play any music before. Yeah, I'm gonna call you out this week. No
we're
vibes.
supposed to pretend that we still don't like each other.
The vibes are right. Yeah, the PR Prem boys are here.
There we go. Okay, now everything is back.
The PR Prem boys are back, and they were upset that there was no Prem.
My weekend was dusted.
And their favorite teams weren't in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, did not watch one FA Cup match.
Oh, we may have to suspend your little
my
title.
membership.
Yeah, your membership for the week.
You know what? Neither did I.
Oh yeah, because your team got bounced. You're sad. You're like, oh damn, Crystal Palace won again. That should have been us.
Yeah.
PR Prem boys, I'm so sick of you guys. I ran back that podcast twice, and I was just like, you.
He quoted everything so he could use it back on us potentially in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I was disgusted. I was like, what's wrong with you guys? I hope that's not the vibes that we're getting today.
Well, there's no Prem, so
yeah. Like go cape for someone else.
Okay,
that's not wearing a black and white jersey.
Oh, Dan's gonna cape for Napoli today.
Oh, absolutely not.
So yeah, man, Prem boys are back. I'm here. So with that being said, if you guys are ready, mic's on, camera's on.
Let's do it.
The light is on, even though we're here in the morning and we could have used the natural light. Whatever, you guys do what you guys got to do.
It's a different vibe.
It's the InnerViews Podcast, episode number 59. I'm pretty sure it's 59. It's your guy Tyrrell, live and direct from Toronto. Survived the snowstorm, survived the cold, survived all the all-star festivities that I could have got myself into, but decided to not get myself into. And I'm here with my two great friends, Fabs and Dan, who are the PR Prem boys. Shout out to the PR Prem boys. How are you guys today? How's everything? What's going on? What's good?
It's nice to see you guys bright and early in the morning.
Is that how you feel too?
Yeah. I'm a morning person, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah, you guys are smiling.
If we lack energy, then it's on us this week.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
right.
much. Yeah.
Losers.
Yeah. I want someone to comment. Why are you guys lack energy? You guys are dull this morning. I want someone to.
No, not this morning.
You guys good?
Yes,
Good.
sir.
Enjoying the long weekend?
Yeah.
Stay out of trouble?
For the most part.
No Twitter beef?
Nope.
Zero. There's no Prem, so I don't get into Twitter beef.
Oh, so you're saying you don't beef with anyone else? It's not talking Prem?
No, I'm just kidding.
That's good. I'm happy.
I feel like Twitter was
quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no wild takes. I feel like the wild takes really come when there's the big games. So we might see some tonight.
You might see some today.
I think we for sure, especially considering the two teams going at each other.
Considering the two fan bases,
Yeah.
they're both trash. And then considering this week when we see, Leon possibly beat Barcelona. When who's the other game? Not Bayern, Liverpool. We already know what could happen there. What's the other one on the
Schalke.
next day? Okay, no, not them either.
Juve.
They stink.
Atletico Juve.
Oh yeah, I really, yeah. If Juve turn up,
If one of those teams turn up,
then there's gonna be some questions.
Oh yeah,
about you. They'll be like, oh shit.
No, but I think that one, regardless of the result, if a team gets a result, there could be some wild takes on both sides of the coin.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. That's just the way.
I don't have a wild
Twitter
take.
works.
I don't have a wild take for Atletico.
No, you don't. But there will be some wild takes.
The only way there's a wild take is if Atletico wins like 4-0, and I don't know if they have 4 goals in them.
No, but like I could get into the mind of the average fan, and I'm trying to think of a take that I can make for Atletico. I can make a take for Juve.
Well, if Atletico come out and very handedly beat Juventus, then the take is going to be they don't care about the league and they're trying to win a championship.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know where you heard that
Because it's at home.
I know where you heard that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm not going to plug that podcast, but I know where you heard that.
and if Juve win something like 3-0, then they're the favorites to win the Champions League or something. Like,
The pendulum could swing either way.
Wait,
Yeah,
aren't
they
they?
are. They should be. They should be. They wasted 100 mil this summer on.
I've always said I'm
one of the best options.
I'm sticking to the narrative that I don't think they're.
You don't think, but that's different. You don't think, and what they should be doing are two different things.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Because you're more so being realistic.
Right.
No, he's not.
Why?
Well, why shouldn't you think that they aren't the favorites?
Because they're not good. Because that midfield is not good enough to win a Champions League
But which midfield is?
right now.
Ooh.
Cool.
Ooh, yeah. Which midfield is?
Is it the one that includes?
Is it that one?
No.
With Arturo on his last legs
No.
and Carlos Alena? Still don't know how to pronounce that young kid's name, but
Elena?
I say Elena, but the Spanish folks be hitting you with that. With the L.
You can't pronounce nothing.
Yeah.
No, with that nyanya.
Yeah. Is it Liverpool with Gigi, James, and whoever they want to throw in there?
It's a good question.
Some questions all over the place.
Yeah. Juve got Juve have arguably the best player in the tournament. I wouldn't argue it, but people argue it.
One of the best players in the tournament.
No. I'm gonna
The best? No.
I said arguably the best.
Oh, okay.
Because there's only 2 people in that conversation.
Yes, right.
So he's either the best or he's not. Not that it really matters.
Mr. Champions League?
Mr. Champions League.
Yeah.
So that elevates you to a whole different stratosphere.
And you went out and you purposely bought Mr. Champions League.
Yes.
It's not like he just randomly took a flight to Turin. He's like, oh, I like this place. And I'm going to stay.
Yeah,
Georgina likes the shopping.
Yeah.
He didn't do all that.
Yeah, let me tell you, because when people go there, they're not saying that.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Because I've been there.
So,
No, they're on paper they have to be the favorites.
Yeah.
That's the position you've put yourself in. The same way we've been harping on Liverpool for putting them in the position of you have to win now. The same way we've put Atletico in the position with you spent money, you brought players in, teams put themselves in certain positions where you have to achieve certain accomplishments.
and that's why I wasn't having that little podcast talking about Atletico as if they're trying to say is that, oh, Simeone has done all that he could there. And
Yeah.
that's it.
They spent a lot of money in the summer.
Yeah. Sorry.
They spent 70 million on Thomas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Look, they said that he's gotten the best out of them. Maybe this is it. I was like, no.
Well, he just re-signed that contract.
Yeah.
Too, which I thought was very interesting.
He spent a lot of money this summer. A lot. And you can't tell me that they spent that money. I would ask you, if I'm the person questioning Diego and that board, why did you spend so much money? There's a reason.
Yeah, because you wanted to win.
Yeah.
You didn't spend it to come third.
Yeah. The final is at your little home.
Yeah.
That's the little extra incentive that they do have. So
and it's not even the money that they spent. It's who they kept.
oh yeah, that loser.
They kept their best player.
Yeah. So
Because if they were ready to move on, they would have just let him go.
Yeah.
They would have rebuilt everything.
Yeah. But they didn't. They're all in. So I'm not having what the little podcast said about all that. So we'll leave that there. But yeah, Juve are the favorites. I don't even know how we stumbled onto them being one of the favorites. Oh, because you guys are the.
One of the narratives of
Oh.
the hot takes of Twitter.
Oh yeah. So Twitter was quiet.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
So the PR Prem boys kept low.
Yeah.
And enjoyed their weekend. Got some sleep.
I did actually.
Didn't venture off into the wild, cold
No, it was too cold.
city.
I did yesterday.
Oh yeah, you
Oh.
went.
I went to PR Pursuit. or
You're
Pursuit
not.
something.
Don't plug them.
They gotta pay for that.
We're not plugging anyone.
All right, I went to this adult playground. Is that better?
No, that's
nuts.
worse. No, that just says wild.
That's nuts.
What were you doing in that adult playground?
I thought I was an American Ninja Warrior, and, I wasn't.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm sore this morning.
Oh, for someone that's really sore, you're pretty happy about that.
Yeah,
You're holding up.
yeah.
You're
my,
good?
My ribs hurt a little bit, but that's okay.
And
Took a shot to the ribs.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine, poor baby. And you're telling me, oh, never mind. You'll be fine. I'm not gonna get to that. You guys enjoy All-Star Weekend quickly? Fabs didn't watch it.
You guys took it in, I didn't.
I took
Did
it.
you enjoy it?
I did. I thought it was one of the better All-Star games that we have here in North America.
Oh yeah, it is. 100%.
It is the best.
Yeah, it is
The best.
Other than the fact that the MLB has something to play for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even that in itself.
No,
is
I
whatever.
think this one is the best in terms of. There was a lot of celebrities that you mentioned last week that were there. I thought the quality of the game was good. So overall, I enjoy watching it. I'm not a big basketball fan, but I enjoy watching the NBA All-Star game.
Okay. That's all I want to ask.
Remember last week I asked you guys about the Grammy soccer thing? What if they did an all-star game? Like a free kick challenge,
No, but you know what? Back in the day,
hardest shot challenge.
they used to have a game because I remember watching it. That they
That'd
used to
be
have the
wild.
best of South America against the best of Europe against the best of Africa. They
I
had the
think- see,
game.
that's I think is a liability. Like, you don't want your guy getting hurt.
Yeah, but they used to do it in like the
'Cause
off.
if I paid $100 million for Ronaldo and he goes to an all-star game and cranks an ankle,
But it wasn't an All-Star game. It was like a legit tournament.
but that's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a bit different. But I think that if they do that game, then players will take it a bit. I would hope
Easier?
that
Yeah.
they would kind of chill out a bit.
See, but in soccer that would be more boring. I don't want to watch a half-assed soccer game.
No,
'Cause I feel like that's terrible. Like, you ever watch those charity matches with
Yeah,
Neymar and
yeah.
he's juggling halfway up the
Yeah.
field?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure like I just don't think the intensity levels will be up to like a Champions League game. Right?
I just
Like-
mean the skills
Oh,
aspect
okay.
of it.
Okay.
Like those challenges, I think you can do a lot in
Yeah.
terms of soccer. Different
free kicks.
Yeah.
goalies trying to score from their own end.
Yeah,
and things
that's
of that
true.
nature.
That's true.
If you were to pick out a certain amount of, I just don't know, because soccer is literally a global thing. Where do you draw the line at what teams you're choosing from? Do you say, oh, I'm only going to pick players from the top 5 European leagues? Because then that's unfair to the Dutch. That's unfair to the Portuguese. That's,
No, you give it to Messi and Cristiano, and they pick.
yeah, but then that makes it even worse because then Buddy down in Japan,
No,
Yeah.
no, then they would have to have like
regional.
they would have to have either one of the federations group a bunch of players into their options, right? Or maybe get the media, which you know how that goes.
No, I don't
but,
like that.
Well,
'Cause I think-
who else are you gonna pick? The coaches to pick the best 10 or so players from each league and group them in, or 5 players and
Because, like, I think do you know what Twitter would explode if you had, like, Pogba in a free kick challenge with Ronaldo and Messi?
Yeah.
Like, I think soccer, if you want to grow it, the game, that could be a huge weekend. I know it's already tough to find time to do certain events,
yeah.
but if you could make a 2-3 day weekend out of that, and you get all these guys together in some Qatar because they want to go somewhere mad warm,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they can really make a spectacle out of it. And
Yeah,
grow the game.
I hope this podcast doesn't blow because you're gonna be very upset when they do that.
Yeah.
They don't give you any
Not
money
give me
for it.
any royalties.
Yeah. This guy Fabs is very smart. Right? Just take his idea and run with it.
That's okay.
No, I feel where you're coming from.
I just thought it could be cool. Just because I feel like there's so many different things you can do within the game,
Yeah.
challenges within the game and stuff.
Okay. I see where you're coming from. Anything else happened this weekend?
No.
Nothing exciting? Nothing really around? Yeah, it was just NBA All-Star. Buddy. Oh, I don't really know if I want to go that. Yeah, Aubrey did his mixtape that you were playing. Cool for him. Congrats.
Get your streams up, buddy.
Yeah, get your streams up. Buddy faked his like beatdown.
Oh
that
yeah,
guy?
that's nuts.
Buddy, did you
That's
hear about that?
2019, man. Like, in a nutshell, that is that.
Yeah, I don't even really know the full story of it. I just know that. Do you know the full story of it?
Apparently, he was coming out of a subway
Yeah.
or something like that, and he got jumped by 2 guys, and apparently they put a noose around his neck, and they poured bleach on him. Make a long story short, it now is coming out that he potentially paid those 2 guys to do this. Like,
Really?
to make a story. He's on, is it Power?
Yeah.
I don't know the show. He's an actor,
Oh,
and apparently he paid for these guys to do this.
Jussie Smollett or whatever.
Yeah. And now it's coming out that he paid these two guys. Apparently, allegedly. I don't want to speak facts or speak something about somebody, but
That's the allegations, right?
where there's smoke, there's fire. I think in most cases.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I did read something interesting that Chicago PD has not been one to always be transparent with certain things. So we don't. At the end of the day, we're only being told what they want us to hear.
right.
So what's true and what's wrong in this case? It's already the pendulum is swinged from. It was one thing to now it being something completely opposite. So who knows who's lying? But if he is lying, that's nuts.
They announced Mourinho the payoff. Like
United have been
Yeah.
United have been dropping a bag on firing people.
Yeah, was it 20? It got from CP24. I was like, oh, look at you guys. Man United finances showing Mourinho cost $25 million. So I'm assuming that's American or Canadian.
Yeah, I think it was like 21
19.6 pound payoff.
Yeah, there you go.
Nick Harris, Man United's 19.6 payoff to Mourinho and staff announced they would pay the wages of all the players, managerial team, coaches, and all other staff, footballing and otherwise, at an average League Two club for 8 years.
Wow.
Good for him.
I could see why people want to go coach United.
Yeah.
If things don't go out so well.
Yeah. Same thing with Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Coincidence that two of them are playing in a prestigious 5th round FA Cup clash this afternoon that we will not be breaking down or previewing because we don't got time, and we'll do that on Thursday. And anything else that you guys really want to talk about? Quick turnaround, so it's nothing really to talk about. We had a lot of games. We didn't have a lot of games to watch, but enough games to ensure that our weekends were busy.
No.
Dan sore. Fabs was chilling out, laying low.
Yep.
Not getting into Twitter beef. I was chilling. So I feel like if that's the case and no one else really has anything to talk about, shout out to the YouTube subscribers, shout out to the Facebook followers and likers, shout out to those on Instagram and Twitter showing us love, giving us hate. We love it regardless. So keep doing what you keep doing. Shout out to those on Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, or iTunes, whatever you guys. iHeartRadio, Android people using whatever Android apps you use. Y'all got too many Android apps. Make one so that I could tell people what to download on. Pick the best one. And shout out to everyone on YouTube listening as well or watching. I'm gonna get both podcasts up at some point this week because people like to see Dan and Fabs. They don't like to see me.
They get to see you every day.
They get to see me every day. What a privilege! Oh my god,
they've seen you over 100,000 times now.
Yeah, shout out to us.
Yeah, I'll give you a little round of applause.
Yeah. Poor people. The people that come back are stupid. I wouldn't want to see.
You're not supposed to say that.
I don't want to see myself 100,000 times. That's a lot.
You're delivering quality content.
Oh,
To
yeah.
the viewers.
You know what's crazy? I don't get that much hate comments. And most of them that do, most of them are trolls.
Yeah,
you know,
so you know right away.
Yeah, so we're batting like close to 100. We'll come back a year from now and see how that's going.
We'll even take surprisingly, that was a great analysis. We'll take that as a win for us.
Yeah.
The people we surprised, we're taking that as a W.
Yeah, we're here to stay, man. This is the best soccer/footy podcast in the world. The best one in Toronto. Shout out to all the podcast people doing their thing. Shout out to those on Clip Draw. Oh, shout out to Clip Draw Gang for keep holding down the fight. We're waiting for you to, join the dark side, jump on the camera. But if you don't want to do that, that's cool. Keep doing what you're doing. Shout out to Clip Draw for not talking to us about getting us on Clip Draw and actually showing our faces. Shout out to Fabs' De Gea clan. Shout out to the Grizz gang. Shout out to Dan Spurs boys. I don't know if you got. I don't know what you call them yet. What do they call themselves? Spuds or
really?
I don't know what they call themselves.
I have no idea.
I need to find out what Spurs fans call themselves. I do not want to be because those are your boys.
I don't want to be a part of a clan called Spuds
or the Yids. I don't know. Maybe I'm dissing them.
The Yid Army.
Something.
Is it something?
We got to find that out. Shout out to everyone off today. Shout out to all those enjoying Family Day. Shout out to those in the cold, working in the cold, trying to stay warm. Shout out to everyone, man. I'm just not in the mood to really give everyone a shout out. I'm grouping you all together this week because we got limited time. So with that being said, like I said, it's the best soccer/footy podcast in the world. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep reminding you. We're here to stay. Fabs, you know what time it is. It's the InnerViews Podcast, episode number 59, almost at 60. It's quite a small, light week that we're really getting into. I'm really bad at that this week. But like I'm saying, we don't really have much to talk about. So we kind of got to pick here. We actually have a chance to break down games that we normally wouldn't get to because of the whole Prem thing, because you guys are the PR Prem boys. and we got to hit that first. And when we don't, usually we pick the wrong game. So we take the safe bet and we take the prem. So what are we starting with today? I know where we should start, but I want to know if you guys
tell us then.
are on the same wave. Oh, okay, well I'm gonna run it this week. We're starting Spain.
Okay.
I don't want to start in Italy. And I don't want to start in Germany because only one of those teams played.
Yep.
Sorry, Jimmy.
Dan tried that already the other week. So.
Yeah. We'll start with them when you come on. So that's a challenge to him.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. And then
we're going to listen to him talk about Bayern's history for 60 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about all that. We're going to ask him some real questions. We're going to get into the nitty gritty. Spain, La Liga. The title races was back on last week, so they thought, and now it's soft.
It's dead again?
It's dead. So someone was saying that now that they lost and they're 9 points back, that it's pretty much over. But I don't think that Real Madrid ever thought that they were going to win the league anyways.
I don't think either of those sides should have thought that it was back on, just based off performances. I don't care about results. I don't care about how many games Atletico Madrid has won in a row at one point, or how many games Real Madrid was winning off the spin. It doesn't matter. What matters is your performance base. A lot of those games they're just barely getting by. Griezmann's sort of been carrying the slack for everybody on that side.
It's just crazy because if you're just looking at the stats and whatnot, he's scoring the goals. Even this week is a great example. It's not really doing much.
Do you know what's crazy is that the second best scorer on that team in La Liga only has 2 goals.
Yeah.
Nobody else has more than 2 goals.
Yeah.
So you have to question, damn, if he wasn't there,
then
scoring the penalties and the little shots off the defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows you shouldn't have scored that, but you take it, right? But yeah, it comes to a point where, they got to look at themselves and be like, we're probably not going to win this. Which is also funny because you can make the case for Barca too, based off their inconsistency this season, that, maybe they don't deserve it either. I'm a fan of having a league where no one wins the championship, but I know
nobody in the league has deserved it this year.
Cancelled.
If it comes down to that point, we're scrapping it this year.
Give it to the guys who just stay above relegation.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
We're gonna vacate it. Y'all gotta fight next year harder.
Do like some WWF stuff where they vacate a title.
Yeah, we gotta vacate the title, man.
Have a Royal Rumble.
None of you guys deserve it.
To be honest, if we talk about that Barcelona game, Valladolid, however you pronounce it correctly, if they actually could finish, if they were a team that had a little bit more quality in that match, that a team would have beaten Barcelona in that day.
I think that goes for the other 2 games as well. Just Girona did find a way to finish.
That was going to be my segue to them as well. When I watched that Barcelona game, I was amazed at how many chances that Barca would let up 4-on-3, 3-on-2, and if they did have if that other team had a little bit more quality, Barcelona would have lost that game for sure. They just got lucky that they couldn't finish, and Messi scores his penalty, and kudos to the goalie for making the save on the second one. But yeah, look. That's pretty much how you could sum up that Barcelona game.
I think the fact that Barcelona have scored 61 goals this season and nobody is anywhere near them is the narrative of the league.
Yeah.
It's the fact that everybody is having troubles defending. Even themselves, they have 23 goals against.
Yes.
That's nowhere near the number they had last season.
No.
It is, they haven't had Umtiti for long stretches, but that back line has been nowhere near the cohesiveness that they've had in previous seasons. PK he's getting up there in age. He's diminishing in his quality. It's expected. When you're so good for so long, at one point or another, you're gonna trend the other way.
I even think it's that, and I've even noticed how much chances they allow the other team too. It's one thing to be poor defensively. It's another thing to also give up that many chances on the counter, on the odd man breaks. And that's one thing that I've noticed about Barcelona this year more than any other years is how poor they are in that transition. They're great going forward, but not so great going the other way.
So what are you trying to say? Both of you.
That their position in the league, I don't think is solely based on how good they've been. I think their position in the league is very much based on how poor everybody else has been.
That was my point as well.
I think if they run into a season where Real Madrid have their shit together or Atletico Madrid has their shit together, that they're in for a dogfight, or they could potentially not be in first at this point. But to be 7 points up, I think is very generous for how they've played this season. We've seen them be exceptional, and we've seen them not be able to defend in long stretches.
And get away with it.
Yes.
That's the key. Because yesterday they got away with it, or Saturday.
Can we not maybe make that case for every other league besides England? No.
I think you could also make it for Juventus. Is that But Napoli. But I think the difference is Juventus are still getting the results. Barcelona are getting the results, but there's a difference to me in that.
Okay.
Like Napoli are still playing at an exceptional pace. Like what Napoli are doing, they've drawn a few games here and there, but they're still playing well. I think if Atletico was playing at the level that Napoli were, I think this race would be a lot closer.
Mm-hmm.
Atletico have had far too many chances to gain ground and haven't, whereas Napoli haven't had that many chances. Juventus has lost, one game? They haven't even lost in the league.
They haven't
yet.
lost in the league.
They haven't lost in the league yet.
It's crazy.
And they've had a couple of draws.
Yes.
Yeah.
So based off results, Napoli haven't had that opportunity to really bounce back, other than that one draw or the two draws that Juventus has had.
Yeah.
Whereas Atletico, Barcelona just came off 2 draws back to back. And what did Atletico do? They lost both of their games.
Yeah.
They could have made up 4 points. This could have been at 3. That's where I'm saying it's on. Yes, Barcelona has been consistently, I don't want to say average, they've been consistently okay this season.
Yeah.
So that 7-point gap, I think, should be much shorter. And that's a testament to how Atletico have had their opportunities and haven't taken them.
When I look at, it's not really a surprise to me the way they're playing, because that was kind of the narrative last season too. They were kind of really getting by off Messi's brilliance, and they didn't really improve the team based off what they got in the summer in terms of the quality of the squad, the quality of the starting 11. They just improved the depth, and they improved the depth so that they can make a run in the Champions League, because it's no secret. Well, it shouldn't be a secret to us, and it's no secret to anyone living over there that they're tired of being second fiddle to Madrid, and they're tired of not going deep in that competition or winning. So there's a part of me that believes that them, unlike Atletico, they have an eye on that. And I think that has been a factor. They are playing a lot of games this month too, and I feel like, I remember we were talking about it last week when we were talking about City playing a lot of games, and I guess Liverpool and someone else playing a lot of games. Like, they have a huge stretch in February where it's really rough, because those Lyon games aren't going to be easy. They have to manage the Copa del Rey with Real Madrid.
They have Lyon, Sevilla, and Barca in their next
exactly, and
5 to 6 matches.
the same thing applies to Real Madrid. The thing here with this Barca squad is that if no one's going to say it, then they're old.
Yeah,
they are.
That's what I was hinting at with the Piqué thing. Is that
they're old.
A lot of those players are getting to the top of that mountain.
They're old. Suarez is on his last legs. They don't really have a natural replacement to replace him up front. And then Messi, they are monitoring his minutes. I'm pretty sure he will rest at some point, but he's getting older, and the more games that he is playing doesn't really help his case. And when we look out wide, they have young players that aren't really there yet to rely on them on a long-term basis. And the midfield, yes.
And the back line, too, if you're going to get to it.
Okay, I'm going to get to them in a second. And then we look at the midfield, and Busquets needs rest, Rakitic needs rest, and the other guys don't really fill the void. They can play the odd good game here and there, but you can't rely on them on a consistent basis to deliver those performances week in and week out. And then we get to the back line, and the big thing here obviously is that Piqué doesn't have a quality partner to be around him because Umtiti's out. And I think the fullbacks have done what they're kind of supposed to do. I'm not expecting more, and I don't think they've really underperformed this season. But it does get to the point where obviously we know the significance of Jordi Alba, and he's getting up there as well, and he's played a lot of football over the past decade or so. So they have to monitor that as well. So I mean, this is the best case scenario for them, that Real Madrid historically aren't really good in the league anyways. So I understand that. Even if they had Ronaldo, yes, he may have won them some games, but I would still expect them to lose a lot of games too, because that's just that's just who they've been over the past decade or so, or even longer than that.
They had them last year and they finished
And
like
they still
17.
and that Barcelona side wasn't that much better than they are this year. So I can't really make the case that if he was there, they would be up there. And
the spine of that team have been together for a long time.
yeah. And they're old too, Madrid.
Yeah.
So
They're getting there, yeah.
so they're battling with the same issues as well and trying to inject that youth. But the thing about injecting that youth is that although they can be promising players, we kind of take for granted how difficult it is to perform at the highest level on a long-term basis.
That's actually funny that you brought up the youth. Is that while I was watching this, what came to mind is who has the better crop? You have Ordiozola, Reguilon, Vinicius now, Asensio, I guess, still fits into that crop. Vasquez is sort of maturing a little bit.
Barca does.
Against the Dembele. You think so?
Barca should.
On paper.
Yeah, on paper.
This year, I think Madrid's players have stepped up, especially in the last month or so.
Well,
a lot of the young guys have played better.
I think the Madrid younger guys have needed to step up, let's say, more than the Barcelona guys. But I think, to Tyrell's point, I think Barcelona have the better younger crop of players on paper. How they develop and whatnot, I guess we'll see. But I think they're the better crop.
Well,
purely on paper.
Well, I take the Barca fullbacks over the Real Madrid fullbacks. I think. I think it. I would take
Semedo and Sergi over Reguilon and Ordiozola, I guess.
Well, Sergi shouldn't be playing there, but I guess we're gonna put him there.
Yeah, because I don't know who would the other one be.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I would take him. I would take them, and the midfield I take Artur over Ceballos.
That's fair.
And I don't know what
Elena against
Marco
Llorente. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could make that case. And then we look up front. Obviously, the Vinicius hype is going through the roof, but
6 months ago, Vinicius was Dembele.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Essentially.
You know? So we have to see how those play out with obviously Vinicius and Coutinho. I mean, Coutinho and Dembele against Vinicius and Asensio.
You're going to put Coutinho in there?
It's not really
a youth product of...
He applies.
Okay. Well, Lucas Vasquez is like 26, so...
Or Asensio, whoever you want to throw into that mix,
okay, if you want to throw Asensio in there.
But whatever.
So yeah, that's kind of seen. And Atletico's problems, I blame on them, 100%. So
you would rather build around the Barca youth as opposed to what Real Madrid have going?
I think I would.
Like, who is set better for the next... Who's prepared for the rebuild better?
At the moment right now, it looks like it should be Barcelona. Just because the instability at Real Madrid. And you never know what you're going to get. And you don't know that even though they have Vinicius, they're not going to buy Neymar and Hazard just for the sake of it. And then
he goes by the wayside.
Peace, Vinicius.
Right. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So those youth players don't really, even if they play well, we're still not 100% sure because of the stature of that club and the way that they go about their business. Whereas Barcelona, if those younger players do play well, they will stay. And if they don't, then yeah, you got to go.
And I think Barcelona have a little bit of a bigger history of playing their youth, of having guys transition from the youth to the first team. I think there's a bigger history at Barcelona that you see guys like Iniesta, Messi, Piqué that have come from the youth system and then get into the first team.
And the only reason why really the Madrid players are playing is because of Solari.
Yeah,
right.
Because if Buddy was still there.
And
I'd probably venture to say 70 to 75% of these kids would not be playing.
Vinicius would still be at Real Madrid B.
And that's the big thing here now is that who's coming in next and what is their look at the squad?
Yeah, what's their plan?
And what's the pressure on them to win something real quick? And then that's why I look at it that way. But that's why I'm not really surprised at how the landscape of the league is because at the end of the day, Barcelona still have the best player in the league by some distance, and they still have a decent enough core that they can rely on that has won those league titles in the past to get them over the hump. But at this point, it's kind of like, as bad as it is to say, I know what their eye is on, and I know what they will be judged on this season. I think if they didn't win the league this season and won the Champions League,
Oh yeah,
there would be no issue at
I think I
that
have to
club.
agree with you. Yeah,
Madrid or Barcelona?
Barcelona.
Okay.
yeah.
I
definitely
think
have
that
to
is the
agree.
case at that club this season specifically.
Especially looking across the league and you see the success Madrid have had in
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why nobody gave them any congratulations last season, because how they bowed out of that competition.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that is still something on their minds, Valverde and the core. But I do have to pose a question to Valverde now, because I feel like now we're at a nice cross point where he's really realizing. I know what he did last season. No one expected it, and he pulled it off, and that was great. But now the pressure's on. Round of 16, they're expected to challenge, and they are having a few hiccups in the league, or not playing well, not really getting the right rotation crop of players together to get results with performances. And I feel like if this does go south, that could be it for him.
Does that 1 year contract surprise you at all then? Or is that just a little bit of
that's just
sort of like a PR move
that's
to say
just-
where we back you but we really don't back you?
PR back you. You guys should know. You're PR boys. It's something that, if you do stay, I mean, if you do well, we will keep you. But if you don't, we have every right to cut ties, and it won't kill our pockets because we didn't give you that type of bag.
Yeah.
Like United did with Mourinho.
Yeah. Well, even there's news that they're not sure if they want to extend or re-sign Rakitic to a new deal. And I know especially Tyrrell, how much he sees Rakitic as an important part of that.
That's Fabs' guy.
Oh, Fabs guy. Sorry.
That's Fabs guy. I like him too, but that's Fabs guy.
So there's I don't want to say there's instability, but there's question marks even going forward with that Barcelona team, of who they want to go forward with. You mentioned Suarez. Add Rakitic to the list.
Yeah.
Messi's not getting any younger.
Which is crazy to think that there's instability in a club that spent so much money in the last 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
There should be absolutely no reason to have any instability. They should very comfortably challenge or win the league and challenge. When I say challenge, I mean like a semifinals Champions League run based on their roster list.
Yeah. Well, they're in that ballpark. I mean, like we've stated, there's no real contender. And I feel if we put Barcelona on any given night against the best teams in Europe, most of the time we're going to take them as the slight favorite, if that. Because on their day, and like I said, I feel like they've showed us in the Champions League that, when they're ready, they're going to go to Wembley and beat down Spurs and go about it how they want to.
I won't bet against all those players, all those vets that you named. I'm not betting against a lot of them in a Champions League night.
Yeah. No. And especially what happened last season. But the whole thing with that is like Rakitic is old too. How old is he? Like 30 something?
I think he's probably approaching 31.
Yeah.
Easy.
So they kind of got to get him out of here. Buddy probably wants a nice little paycheck.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. So
Problem is are you comfortable with Elena and Artur as his replacements?
Right.
How old is he?
He's 30.
Yeah.
So are you comfortable with those young players, or are you going to make another move?
Yeah. Well, that's part of the Frankie thing, bringing him in.
Yeah.
The thing is that now in today's given age, they're going to have to spend every team's going to have to spend ample amount of money to bring in those top quality players. Unless you have a coach, unless you land a coach like Pep, who you're going to give the time to actually build the team to the way that you want it, right?
I don't know if those two sides work that way.
I don't think they work like that anymore.
Yeah. They've brought themselves to that position where it's success and we need it on a year-to-year basis.
Yes.
The only reason Real Madrid have been given this ability to not win the league so long is because of their success in Europe.
Right.
Because those fans would have been killing them if year after year they would have won nothing.
Without any titles.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if a Copa del Rey once every 3 years is sufficient enough.
Exactly. No. Not for that fan base and not for that kind of club.
Yeah.
I think you have to have success both domestically, and domestic success means winning the league, and European success.
Yeah, so that's why I can't really kill Barca for the way that they've been trying to kind of rebuild. They don't have to spend like they did for a lot of those players. They're renowned buyers.
Yeah.
It's just that people don't really talk about it in that regard. And I feel like it's only talked about now because of the way that they bought Dembele and the way that they ended up buying Coutinho and the excess amount of money that they did spend for those players. So,
but do are Real Madrid on the verge of needing another Galactico era? Do they need to go out this summer and spend money?
I think I don't think they need to, but I think they will.
No, they
I
need,
think
no, they need to.
I think they're at the point where they need to.
They need to.
They need to close this gap in the league.
They 100% need
And
to.
I think it shows now that the players, one, are aging, and two, that the new crop it might not be there just yet.
When you go from top to bottom, they kind of have to. Well, first things first, they got to figure out who's their number one goalkeeper, because that shit can't keep flying.
No,
There's no great team that cycles through two
no,
goals.
no.
Yeah, they got to pick one, and that's it. So they really got to figure out what they're going to do with that. That's the first thing, because that is a locker room distraction.
Absolutely, it is.
Because there are definitely some people that like Kaler. They probably all like Kaler, and we don't know how many people like Thibaut.
We don't know yet.
I don't know if I like Thibaut.
He hasn't had success yet. I think that's what it's based off of.
So we'll leave that there. So when we go from top to bottom, everyone knows that this could be Bale's last season.
Mm-hmm.
Great quality, just can't stay fit for long periods. So we got to get him out. I love the Benzema, the rebrand that we've been seeing this season. But again, he's up there, and you can't rely on solely him.
No,
Yeah.
no, absolutely.
So that's where I think that they need to find someone.
That's two already.
Okay, so that's two. So then we have to go to now the issues within the squad. We have to look at Isco, who I think is going to be gone this summer.
Marcelo's going to leave.
And we have to look, before we even get to him, we have to look at Asensio. Because after last season, there was a lot of hype around him and what he was going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And that really hasn't worked out for either coach. Because he did start off a bit well with
Julian?
Yeah, but towards the end, he wasn't really an option, and he hasn't really been an option with Solari.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
the injury hasn't helped, but but agreed. Yeah.
And then we go to then we have to look at Vasquez, who's probably going to stay because of his work rate and what he offers, the balance that he offers. So he'll probably stay depending on who the manager is.
Yeah,
but I like to think that he would stay. Then we get to the midfield, and this is where it gets really interesting because that midfield, Luka is in the same position as Ivan is.
That's right.
At some point, they gotta really be like, okay, like all of you except for Casemiro, who I think is a fantastic all-rounder and should no longer be labeled as solely a defensive midfielder because he's great.
Yeah.
But that's for another day. But besides him, they really got to look at that midfield and decide what's next. Because although I love Tony,
he's getting up there.
He's getting up there, and they've played so many games over the past few seasons. You could kind of see it grinding on them. He's played a lot of games since he was 21.
Yeah.
23.
Through the national team, through all these competitions, through everything.
From Bayern to Real Madrid. So he's played a lot of games.
To Germany as well.
Yeah. And then when we look at the midfield option that they do have, we don't know if Danny is ready yet to play. Just like the Barca boys, we don't know if Danny's ready to play full time.
I'm going to venture to say I don't know if he's a Real Madrid caliber player.
We can make that argument.
Like, he's a nice option.
Yeah.
But is he? Because when you're trying to fill Tony and Luka's shoes.
Yeah.
That there needs to be a certain level that you're playing at.
Yeah. And I don't know if he could do it. I don't know if Marcos could do it for a long stretch. We already know Mateo ain't doing it.
Yeah. Nope. Who knows where he is?
And he's coming back.
He's probably not even going to come back. He's going to come back and get loaned out again.
So that's for him. And then we have to look at Ramos just like we have to look at PK because I feel like they're in the same boat.
Yep.
They're in the same
I think
boat.
I'd still give the nod to Ramos.
Okay, that's fair.
At least personally in my books.
Okay.
I still probably put him a class above Ramos than PK. But I could see what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's only so long you can go before questions need to be asked.
And then the same thing is Marcelo.
The same thing with Marcelo. And then they have obviously the fullback areas where they have young players that could prosper. Then they bring back Hakimi as well.
Yeah.
Varane.
But and Varane, who has had a very underwhelming season on the Lolos.
Right.
So we look at that and it's like, yeah, they do got to rebuild. They do got to spend some money, and it depends on obviously the higher ups and who they bring in, and they're going to spend a lot of money because, like I said, the Christian Eriksen thing, he's going for a surplus.
Yeah. But you know what? And the thing is that now and this is what happened, and this is how Barca got. I don't want to say fleeced by Liverpool, but
no, they got fleeced.
Okay, let's say that. Then they sell Neymar to PSG for all that money. Now the teams know how much money you've got. So if Liverpool was going to sell Coutinho at, let's say, 80 million before, now they know that Barca's got money. Listen, he's no longer worth 80 million. Now he's worth 90, 100, because they know that they have the money. So players' transfer values do get inflated depending on what what the dominoes are that fall in it before or after a big transfer.
I think the only mistake Barca made there was that they bought him in January, because I think they could have gotten him for less. And I don't know why they decide to pull the trigger so quick. Bidding war.
But do you think that if he makes that Champions League final, his price wouldn't have even been higher? Let's just say
depending on his impact.
Let's just say that the season progressed in that nature to where they make Champions League final. He is somewhat instrumental. I'm not going to say he's as instrumental as that front three, because who knows if they could have even made a Champions League final with him in the midfield.
Yeah.
I think that's up for debate.
Yeah.
You might be paying more at that point.
I think it would hit that price.
Yeah. You think they would have paid the same in January as to in July if he makes a Champions League final?
Yeah, I don't know. The only reason why I'm saying that's the price is because we know he would have been much less, and no one thought that Barcelona would pay that amount of money. So I feel like if they won the Champions League, then maybe, because we know he's not worth that, but if he won the Champions League, then maybe they'd be like, oh yeah, well, he's worth this now, and then Barcelona would have to kind of.
So you think Liverpool put out a number and Barca just jumped at the first number?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah,
but I think Liverpool knew two things. Knew how much Barcelona wanted him. Two, they knew that they had the money from the Neymar transfer. Well, and I think that all played. I think you have to look at that as one thing, a hand rubbing another hand in all of that.
I just think that if you get to July, Liverpool could probably squeeze another 20 out of that. And nobody would really bat an eye, you know?
Okay.
They'd say, okay, this guy just made the Champions League final.
Yes.
Because you know how those narratives get passed around.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But I think just in general, player values have just skyrocketed out of control.
You pay a premium for anybody.
Yes.
But that's why it's so difficult to build a team the way that Real Madrid want to build it. Because any of those players I just named that aren't really worth it, they're not getting top dollar for those players. They're not getting top dollar for Bale. They're not getting top dollar if they were to let Karim
in terms of
go.
Transfer out.
Yeah. They're not getting top dollar for any of those guys. Whereas before, when they were letting Di Maria go and Ozil go, they were getting top value for what they were worth at the time, right?
Yeah.
That just isn't the case anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try to do that if they bring in a new manager, which everyone expects them to, and if they try to go that route where they're trying to buy Eden. Because like I said, Eden's going to go for a lot of money. And Neymar should go for more, and Mbappe should go for more. And then they got to definitely at some point fix the midfield. Like there are areas there that they need to fix if they want to challenge on both fronts. And it depends. We have to wait and see, right? But that's kind of the Liga thing right now, is that Barca, we can kill them, but I'm not too surprised with what's going on there, given how last year went, and given that I know what they really have their eyes on. But it's a gamble. They know it's a gamble, but I feel like at this point it's a gamble that they should be willing to take, given the fact that look how everything's gone for them in the league.
Yeah.
So it's kind of worked out for them.
They are 7 points up. They can now manage games, especially through this hectic schedule season.
And that's why a game against Valladolid, if they kind of slack it off a bit, 3 days before they got to travel to France, where they're going to get a real challenge.
Yeah.
I could, I'm a nice guy sometimes. I could be like, okay, whatever.
But if it goes on for another month, then you really have to start to press and be like,
yeah.
Because if we're giving Juve slack, we got to kind of give Barca that, because they need to play at the same level. Because you can't get saved by Messi like week in and week out, or Juve gets saved by Ronaldo week in and week out. You got to hold them at the same.
But I think over the stretch of the season, Barca's played better than Juventus.
Yeah, I think
even though they've lost some games, I think they played better than them
in terms of performances.
Yeah, on a week in, week out basis. I just obviously they got a tough schedule.
No, I agree.
I gotta look at them and be like, you got three classicals in a month.
Sevilla and the Champions League,
and Lyon twice
around the 16th.
And no one's really talking about Lyon because ain't no one watching League. But yeah, they're gonna go there and run them into the ground. They're gonna have a difficult night tomorrow.
Well, they could ask City about how difficult they had.
They're gonna and they could ask PSG too. They're gonna have a difficult night. So that performance, but obviously if it continues for like the next 2 months or so, then we have to have a conversation. I don't care. Kill Messi. We've been waiting. Can't be great all these years. We're gonna kill you. I don't care if you're 35 and it's expected. We're gonna kill you.
That's nuts that both of those guys have been that good for that long.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris. We're going to kill you. Anyways, we're done with that. Let's jump to Italy quickly. Titles don't matter, so I don't have anything to say about Juve. Yeah. But if we got to talk about it quickly, what do you guys really have to say? I don't care.
What do we think about the Icardi thing?
So we're skipping Juve.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Serie A just in general.
Oh no! Well,
Juve win.
I was just saying.
Napoli
I just wanted to say we're gonna skip Juve.
Oh,
yeah,
because I don't really care. Because I don't really care. I don't care about them.
There's the same narrative that just continues to win.
Right.
Even though they won 3-0,
they weren't great.
One was a Dybala long shot. One was a corner kick, and then the Ronaldo goal was very well taken. But even then, in that first half, all their opportunities came from 30 yards or out.
Right.
Just long shots.
Yeah.
There was nothing substantial that was from open play.
That Ronaldo goal, you just know it's going in. I was like, you idiots! Like, you can't track him. Yeah. You give him that much, just let him walk into the box and then try and jump after. No, get out of here.
Yeah, and Frosinone are who Frosinone are.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why when I saw the scoreline, I was like, oh, these bums. They better have played well. And then I watched it. I was like, oh man.
So I warned you.
These bums. Nah.
I did.
No, you did. You did. But it's like, beat someone down. I'm not talking about run up the score. I'm like, beat them down.
I just want a complete performance.
No. But besides Dan, the whole fan base says this is what they do. And Peak Max is like...
Finally, I got excluded from that.
Peak yeah, you're one of the good ones.
Okay, thank God.
For now. Peak Max is like, come in. Peak Max months are like March and onwards.
Oh.
Is that true?
What?
Peak Max months?
Yeah, okay.
I'm just asking if it's true.
He performs better as the season goes on. Yes. So if you want to say March, April, May, sure.
Yeah. That's what they tell me.
I think this Atletico draw is going to be very telling.
Yes.
It is. Well, they kind of get lucky that Atletico's
a little bit hurt.
It's like if they get bounced.
Okay. If they get bounced, then we're on here for 4 hours. Sorry, guys.
That's nuts.
It's a 4-hour podcast if they get bounced by Atletico. I'm going to go out there on a ledge and say that there is no chance in hell that they should lose. Yeah. I'm not saying that they will or won't. There is no reason why they should lose to that Atletico Madrid side.
You're right.
I don't care.
I agree with you.
This is like the worst.
I don't care that Atletico will have the final to play at home. I don't care.
No.
This is the worst Atletico Madrid side since Simeone won the league.
Yes. And they're missing.
Is Koke going to be back?
No.
Is it? That's not.
Not for
I
the
know
first leg.
Costa played second half.
Yeah, Costa did play.
But I don't know if Costa will be fit for the first.
I want to see him run up against Chiellini.
That's always a fun battle.
Somebody's catching a red card.
Yeah.
I could almost
Chiellini's getting.
I'll put 100 on that.
He's getting busted open.
Yeah, Costa never gets a red card, so he's doing something stupid. But like
that narrative continues where they have to win.
There's no reason why they shouldn't win.
I'm you know what? I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna say that every matchup they encounter in the Champions League, they have to win. I don't care who they're playing. There's not one side that they're gonna come up against that I'm gonna say should beat Juventus or Juventus can't beat.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
They're just at that level now where it has to be.
Should or can't.
Well, I think a lot of things play into it. Who's playing?
That's what I'm saying.
Your run of form, because these games are played within distance of one another.
So can't.
I'd say should. Like Juventus, if they play Barcelona, Juventus should beat Barcelona. Like they have to.
You got more confidence than I do in my own team.
So those are the matches that I want to see them get into in the latter stages. I would love to see Juventus against Barca. I would love to see Juventus against Liverpool just because of the way Liverpool play.
City.
And I'd love to see them against City because that's just really compelling. And I feel like David and Bernardo and Kevin could really give Pjanic the problems.
No, I agree with you.
So
but they've put themselves in the position where they need to win. They have to win those games.
Yeah. But they've put themselves in that they need to win now. That's like you said.
They've
gone out and got the players that they want to win now.
You losers, why do you put this pressure on yourself? What do you guys think this is? Come on, man.
They built up the expectations, so now you got to rise.
Yeah, so now you got to rise. I do think. I don't know why I got back into Let's Go. I do think they miss Gabby leaving last season. I feel like they don't really have that general, and Saul hasn't really played well.
Which is why I think they miss Koke as well.
They miss Koke. I feel like they could go Thomas and But the Rodri hasn't really played.
Yeah, he didn't play in the last Champions League game.
Yeah,
But he
so-
started on the weekend.
Yeah. So
I think that's a guy that Barca missed out on.
Yeah.
I think him learning a season, 2 seasons under Busquets
Yeah.
Would
could have put him way amazing for his development.
Yeah. Don't put it's Barca. That could still happen.
Yeah, you're
The
right.
when Simeone and them leave. Anyhow, okay, Juve, yeah, they beat Frosinone. Shout out to them. Frosinone still stink. Shout out to all the Frosinone fans who are real diehards. Your team still stinks. Okay, what's the big story in Italy? Icardi?
Stripped.
Well, no, I think it's the fact that he's just not playing. I think that whole injury thing is bullshit. But
Yeah, but first he was stripped of the armband.
yeah, but I think can Inter make the top 4 without Icardi?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, look, I know how good he's supposed to be, and the talent behind him. We know what he's about, but come on, man, he hasn't really done much. Like, yeah, he scored vital goals, but he hasn't really been that guy.
Okay, we could pause.
And that's my thing about him. You know?
I agree.
And I just don't know. Yeah, they've been winning games 1-0.
They beat Sampdoria 2-1 this weekend.
No, I know, but he didn't play.
Yeah.
And I thought they looked much better
Going
forward.
Going forward, it was a much more of a cohesive unit.
Because Lautaro actually moves away.
He just has to
from
learn how to finish.
moves away from the penalty box.
Mhm.
And I think that's the big thing here.
He just
So-
needs to learn how to finish.
Well, look, you gotta sacrifice here.
I think that's going to cause internal problems.
Well, apparently there were already internal problems.
Yeah, that just maximizes
Like
the problems.
there was a divide. Like, didn't Buddy? Someone liked a
Yeah.
tweet about Handanovic being named captain.
Brozovic.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not good. See, this is why social media should be used.
in 2019
Yeah.
or a period, right? So obviously, Icardi feels some type of way about it, but I blame him too, and I blame him based off the fact that he's got to find some way to keep his wife under control, in the sense that she's the one that's always stirring the pot for him and putting him in these situations. And if she's representing you as an agent, then
Oh, she's his agent?
Yeah.
So
Oh, I didn't know
they
that.
they have to find some common ground as to how he's perceived in the media.
I think that's bad business from the jump.
Yeah, your brother or your sister
brother
Not
or your
saying-
wife.
Not saying that a wife is incapable of being an agent, but I think there's too many emotions like caught up in that.
You're scared they're gonna get you out of here for saying
No,
that.
it's the truth. There's way too many. Like, you know how many times I'm mad at Diana, and like, imagine she's my agent or the other way around, or you can't have emotions when you're in business.
What about?
I think I'm an advocate of that. Like, you can't mix the two.
What about a family member?
I think
No.
even then, even though they know you best, so to make certain decisions, they'll have your back. I think even then, there's still certain emotions that shouldn't be tied into it. Like, we see it time and time again where there's a father and son, where the father says something outlandish on a newspaper, and then the son is the one that has to answer for it.
Right.
I'm not a fan of that. I think you hire who you have to hire. There's plenty of people who will do a great job for you, and you don't have any emotions tied into your decisions.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently she was the one that made the comment of saying, she basically said this. I don't know when she said this, but she did say it on that Tiki Taka show.
Yes.
And she was like, more than giving Mauro a new contract, I'd prefer Inter to sign someone capable of giving him 5 good balls in every game.
See, that's another problem.
Pause.
That's what I mean.
You can't.
Like she went after them.
Yeah. and I just think that's not her place. You know, if you're the agent, like, fine, so be it. That's fine. But you cannot go on a talk show or anywhere and start ripping the club for service to your client. Because I don't want to call him her husband.
See, I think that's where the lines are getting blurred.
Yes.
That's still his husband, but that's also her client.
Right.
You don't see Jorge Mendes saying this stuff out in public
No.
because he knows better.
Neither.
Those are discussions that you have to have internally between you and the club.
Right.
Especially if you're in a contract negotiation, you got to be like, we want to stay here. This is what we want to do. This is our future. But you have to provide players around him that are going to build this going forward.
But I also think he has to do better as well. And when we look at the game, I've always been the person that says that the sky's the limit for him. He can be in the elite conversation for strikers, but he doesn't do much. He's a great finisher, and he's ruthless around the penalty box, but I feel like he could do way much more. And we kind of saw that. We saw the opposite this weekend, where Martinez, Lautaro, was getting into those positions that I feel that Icardi should get into, but he doesn't have the finish. But then I can't blame him because he's 21?
Yeah.
He's young. And Inter just looked, although they did have some issues, like they could have conceded at the start of the second half. Tyrrell had an opportunity, and I'm pretty sure there was an opportunity in the first half as well that I can't think of off the top of my head. They played much better than I've seen them for large spells of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was more movement up front. Nangolan's finally caring about his lifestyle habits and his health, apparently.
It's about time.
30 is the perfect time to start fresh.
Took a 10-year career.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow in his footsteps. 30 is when I'm going to start fresh. So good for him for doing that. And they've also had the other pieces there. I don't really like the midfield. And I feel like there's too much inconsistency as to who starts in the back line. But as a whole, I mean, the pieces were there. But Mauro, kind of has to take initiative as well as a captain to do the extra bit and do a bit more. And I feel like we don't get that from him.
But is that his MO? Is that him though? Do Inter just have to know that that's not the type of player that he is?
Well, this presents a perfect opportunity, especially with a new sporting director that probably has looked at that situation. And he's probably thinking, well, yes, I could try to find players to help fill that void that Mauro doesn't give to me. Or after the situation, I could decide to cut ties and move forward elsewhere.
I mean, I think right now, the problem with this is that it puts them in a very difficult situation. It puts the club in a very difficult situation because anybody looking to buy or coming in and wanting to transfer him out, they're going to lowball Inter because they know that he wants out. So if his price tag was worth, and I'm just going to throw this out there, $60-70 million, I'm going in at 40, 45. Because I know if I'm, let's say, a Real Madrid, and he wants to come and play for me, I'm not going to give him the 70 million. I know that he's unhappy at the club. You're not going to want to keep a player that's unhappy. So at some point, you're going to have to get rid of him. And Inter's going to get rid of him for a discounted price.
Or do they get rid of the other party in this? Is he the one that stays?
Because they could patch it up that way as well if they decide to go that route.
They move the other parties in the
You
situation.
can say his name. We don't care. He's not going to come after us.
Brozovic?
He's not listening to this podcast.
Or whoever's involved, right?
Yeah.
Do they move the other parties in the situation and keep him?
They could go that
See,
route
but
as
I don't
well.
think that's a possibility because of the situation that his wife has now created.
Yeah.
Who's also his agent.
Right.
So she's at the center of all this. So regardless of if you move Brozovic, the fans still aren't going to like her. The media is still going to paint a certain picture about her.
I think it gets, and you can never hide these things. And I think
Not today's day and age.
No, once the truth comes out, and I don't want to speculate in what happened, but let's say that the other party is involved. It's not just him who's going to be a problem, but it's Wanda's that's going to be a problem. Is Icardi going to be happy still? You've got so many moving parts to this that the solution might be both of them are gone.
I could see
That could be the ultimate resolution.
I could see Morata doing that as well, because like he just came in December and he's looking at this club and seeing what's been going on and transpiring there for so long, and we all know that there have been issues there in house and the way that they go about who they sign, who they hire as their managers, and I'm pretty sure he's looking at his leader and saying, "Are you really that guy that I want to be leading this club going forward?" Because that's a big thing as well. I feel like this could easily as well be this cop-out move for him to be like, well, look, I don't want you, like, you're not
a
my
change
captain.
of direction.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he comes from Juventus, that they do things a certain way. If the player's not working, they're gone. It doesn't matter who that player is, they're gone. And I think he's going to take that Juventus style over there. And that's why I believe that if the two parties can't form a resolution to this, they're going to both be gone. And the problem that he may have at Inter that he didn't have at Juventus is that financial backing of the club. So maybe they can't afford to lose both of them on the cheap, but I think he'll find a way to get rid of both of them if they can't find a resolution.
And I feel like that's why he called in to the show and said what he had to say, because at the end of the day, that win does kind of show it works out in his favor. It's like, oh, we could win without you. So he said that he's going to offer Icardi a new contract.
Right.
But he kind of has leverage now as to how he wants to go about that. And I think that's also pivotal for him as well. At the end of the day, Icardi, yes, the locker room is also, there's an issue with them, but the fans clearly aren't happy with him either. And there have been situations in the past where the fans haven't been happy with him.
Yeah, but I think even the fans are split because what I've read is that some have said it was wrong to take the armband away. We want him back, and another set of fans have said, you know what? If you don't want to play for us, the door is there. Yeah. Leave. Yeah. So you've even split now the fans, which is worse.
Yeah.
Well, I don't trust them anyway. So
the paying customer.
I don't trust them at all. Look, their life without Icardi for Inter, I don't think it's never that bad.
I think you learn to move on at some point. You have to. Mm-hmm. But can you be successful in Serie A without a top striker? Because we see Milan struggle. Milan now have it's a 4-game sample, 5-game sample. They have that striker. We've seen Napoli hit a couple bumps here and there because Milik and the other guys haven't been able to score on a consistent basis.
Right.
But
can you function without that focus?
But then that leads me to my question: is how good is he really? Because no one's having that discussion. So how good is Icardi? I don't think anyone could give me.
I don't think he's never proven himself to be world class, but I think he's proven himself to be a good Serie A striker.
In Serie A, he's probably top 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Serie A. You're right. The question is, how good is he in Serie A? He's probably one of the top 5 strikers in Serie A.
Okay.
Okay. I think if Icardi goes to Napoli, is that an upgrade? 100%.
Yes.
You'd have to say he's much better than.
And you know what the funny thing is that
Milik.
When 2 years ago, Napoli wanted him, and they just couldn't come to a deal. And if Napoli buys Icardi 2 years ago, they push Juventus. They maybe win that Scudetto.
What if Napoli buy him now, in the summer?
I still don't know, and that's just based off what I've seen from him, and that although the goals are there, we know that he can be a 20 to 25 goal per season striker. Although a lot of those goals are kind of bunched in together. It's not like he goes on an incredible run game after game where he does score to be that difference maker. There's a lot of questions about him that make me question whether you could just slide him into a side that's almost there and that would be the difference maker. Because there's a lot of issues with him stylistically and him as a person and his ego.
So he would have to be humble in his next project.
And I think he's gone through a lot of managers, and I think he needs the right manager to get the best out of him. Carlo probably is the best manager, if anyone is to get the best out of him.
He wouldn't. Yes, he would be one of the top players on the side, but he would be able to transition into that situation where he has an Insigne there who's been at the club for a long period of time. If they keep Alan, there are players who have been there for a long period of time that can help him transition. Whereas he's not coming in and being, although, he is going to be expected to score, but he's not really going to be expected to be the face in a situation like I believe.
But I think a lot of those players are going too. Okay. I think a lot of those players are going. You just named Alan, Koulibaly. They could go this summer. Yeah. And I think that if Icardi were to go, I think that he would go probably to England.
Okay.
So it does raise...
The replacement for Kane?
Let's not go crazy here. Let's not bring Spurs into this.
It's just or Chelsea.
I think he may go to Chelsea.
That or Chelsea, but if Chelsea decide to keep Higuain, then there's no need for him and Icardi.
No.
I don't really see another top English side where he's going to go. He's not going to Arsenal. He's not going to City. He's not going to United.
No. I don't think he'll go to. I don't think Chelsea will keep Higuain, but that's for another.
The Lukaku for Icardi swap.
Yeah. What do you mean? That's great. That's great for Inter.
The last I heard was Dybala's for Lukaku.
Dybala for Lukaku or Dybala for Icardi?
No, I heard both.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I don't know who wins that.
I sure hope that United win that deal.
I don't know who wins that deal. But that's just how I see his situation there. And I feel that I feel like they're all to blame because I don't know what Brozovic actually did. Or I don't know deep dive into it. Maybe that'll come out eventually. But when you look at it, Icardi could do better, both on the field, off the field, and in terms of business. Because at the end of the day, although it is his wife, like she is
The agent
your
as well.
agent.
Yeah.
So
He
they're-
sort of put himself in that position at this point.
Yes. And I think the club, I think we know where Morata really wants to go with this. And I think he'll handle it in a manner that is best for the club. And at the end of the day, that is what matters.
And I think Morata will do it behind closed doors, and he'll do it not publicly. That's not
No.
that's not his way.
That's on her.
Yeah, that's right.
That's on her. And that's my biggest issue, that she was the one that made this public. And it actually doesn't benefit them either. Because now clubs are going to want to be pushed away from your client because of you.
That's
Yeah.
right.
If they know that that's the person they're dealing with, they're
Yeah.
less inclined to go knock on that
Yeah.
door at all.
Right.
Because you don't help our brand either.
No.
So that is the big divide. But at the end of the day, they won. Shout out to Inter.
Yeah.
I feel like that is huge because
Keeps him in third.
Well, that battle it's going to still be a battle. They're only 4 points up.
And look, Inter, I'm serious when I say that Inter is the lesser Italian model of Spurs. They're going to be fine. They're not going to win you a league, but they're not. Despite last year, they're not going to put themselves into that dogfight.
They're going to nuzzle in nicely.
They have too much talent in comparison to everyone around them.
Right.
That they could squeak out the 1-0 wins, and that they should be fine. So I'm not worried about them in that dogfight.
They're not as good as Napoli, but exponentially better than the other
That's right.
3 to 4 teams below them.
Yeah, they're better
And
than
I don't even want to say exponentially better. I just trust them not to blow games that
That's fair.
I would look at in AC Milan or Atalanta or Lazio
or Roma.
or Roma.
Well, you can
Exactly.
look at Milan, who seem to have gotten things back on track.
Yeah.
Or
Funny
is that just
New signing drip.
because Gattuso did this last season?
They got to fire him at the end of the season, though. I just want everyone to be on the same page here, that they still got to fire him at the end of the season.
I think
They can't keep him.
I think if they want to push on
Yes.
to do something
Yes.
strong,
Yes.
it's not going to be with Gennaro in there.
Yes.
Maybe he could be a great assistant.
No, he can't. He can't. Just because of who he is as a person. He can't.
I guess that's fair.
He's-
He probably doesn't see himself in that role.
Exactly.
No, he wants to be the man.
If they want to be what they once were, which is going to take
Years.
plenty of years, they can't keep him there to lead them into the Champions League.
Because I think it's not for sure, but if they do push on to finish in that fourth spot, to your point, I think they need a more competent manager to if they do get into that Champions League.
And I think they're in a great position to do that. Because we know Atalanta is not going to be there.
You'd be so disappointed
I am, because they lost this weekend. But
because you want to see that Atalanta team in there.
Yeah,
That'd be your two teams that would just have a different accent to pronounce the name.
exactly.
I think
it
at the end of the
all
day-
works out.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, it comes down to Roma and how far do they push Milan.
Yes, because I don't trust anyone else.
No, I don't. Lazio, we know what Lazio do every year.
Yeah.
Atalanta, no. Fiorentina, I don't think they're of that quality as well.
They got a bit fortunate this weekend. Shout out
Yeah.
to VAR.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you see that?
Shout out to VAR. Yeah. No comment.
And even with
No comment.
Roma, it's a consistency, right?
Exactly.
But I think that's the narrative
I
of
think-
any of those teams. It's the consistency across the season.
And I think the farther Roma go in the Champions League, the less they're going to put into the league.
Yes. And Roma got to fire Di Francesco too. Unless you give me a good reason, unless you give me a reason or an explanation as to what they expect from him or what his goal is, they got to fire him too.
Well, they spent a lot of money in the summer, so they expected to compete.
Is this an extremely long-term project? And when I mean extremely, I mean long, like
It's very long.
like a decade-long project.
I think a lot of these teams have been bunched together at a wrong time in history where Juventus is just so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
Like I think Napoli are kicking themselves because this is probably the best team they've had in, not the best team, but
Last
cycle
year
of years.
Yes.
That the last 3 to 4 years has been the best they've been in since when? Since Maradona?
Since Diego.
That's what I mean. And they've been unlucky to come up against the Juventus side that
That's
at this
even
point in
better.
history, that's better than them
I only give you that pass for last season.
in terms of.
of a team being unfortunate that they're in the same era as Juventus. But the past seasons where you
But even in like Coppa Italia's and even in like because
okay, so I'll stick to a league perspective.
okay, I thought Fabs was talking just like
I was
throughout
saying
all the
in
competitions.
general that they've just been unfortunate to be going against the Juventus side that has the structure and infrastructure around their club at this point to be set up for this piece of longevity that they've had.
Well, and speaking of that Roma project, they're trying to, and there's so much red tape that they're trying to go through, but they're trying to build their own stadium, just like what Juventus did. To get that extra revenue, to get that extra training facilities, and to do all of that. So they're trying to follow that Juventus.
Well, they should. Why wouldn't they? You have a model of success in your league. You should try to replicate it as much as you can.
Right.
As hard of a pill it is to swallow that Juventus are the team to beat.
Yes.
Year after year, they continue to be the team to beat.
That's taken a lot of hard work behind the scenes. And
yes.
It's like this is like a 10-year plan.
Yes.
Pretty much that they've put together, and it worked. And I agree with that fully. But
Juventus.
Juventus.
Yeah.
And I agree with the Coppa Italia point that yes, they have ruined that for a lot of clubs. But when I look at the league, only last year's Napoli is a team that I was like, oh well, yeah, they probably should have won the league. But when I go through this 8-year run or so, I can't look at any of the contenders that I could look and say, yeah.
Yeah, because 3 years ago, Juventus
steamrolled.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean is that Juventus have just been on another level, and they've made everybody look average.
No, but they are average. They are average.
In Europe.
They are literally average, except for the Napoli team last season.
I think
where I looked at them and I was like, yeah, that team should have won the league.
Some of those sorry teams should have challenged a lot better than what they did, is what I'm saying. It's kind of unfortunate to who they ran up against.
Oh, I don't know if there's been a team that has been on that level since probably, I want to say, the Mourinho treble season.
Yeah,
2010,
where they were like that good, where I could be like, okay, like this would be a competent challenger for this Juventus side, and then the Napoli side last season,
right?
But I can't. When I go back, I can't think of any other teams.
Those Higuain sides
that really fit the mold.
Higuain, Lavezzi,
not the year that he scored the 35 goals or whatnot. That team wasn't as good as last season's in terms of consistency, performance, getting the results, right?
But even
on paper, yes.
But even this season, in terms of what Ancelotti's doing, Juventus just haven't given them the opportunity to claw back into it.
But they're not a title winning side.
No, I'm not saying that, but even making it a conversation.
Okay, yeah.
That's just what I mean. I'm not saying that any of those Napoli sides should have outright won the league.
Okay, well,
I think they've just come into a wrong side of history where Juventus are so good. And they have the infrastructure, they have the money, they have everything in place.
But that's the only reason that I'm happy that Juventus is there, because they've essentially put Serie A on a level where now it's catch-up time for everyone else. And I think that benefits the league, because now teams like Roma, teams like Milan, Inter, they have to look up and be like, well, if we're going to be great, if we're going to pull everyone else back amongst the elite in Europe, we have to be like X. And X is Juventus.
Does that start abroad before it starts domestically? Like, do you have to make moves in Europe and then it's sort of translated in the league?
But
because Italian teams haven't fared that well in Europe, other than Juventus, in a while.
Right.
But that has to start domestically, though.
I think it has to start domestically, and then I think you have to make a name for yourself in Europe to attract those top level players. I mean, players don't want to come to play Juventus. I think Roma, I think Napoli have that. They're hard to attract players to go play at those clubs. I think the Inters and I think the ACs have that little bit of swagger. Yeah, the history
as well.
And I think it will be good for Serie A if those two get into the Champions League. But I think it does have to start domestically. I think it would be a disaster for Serie A, and no disrespect to Tyrrell's team, but if Atalanta finished fourth,
obviously, yeah,
Atalanta's not bringing guys.
Yeah,
other than maybe
they're losing players, if anything.
Yeah, they're gonna lose most of them. Papu,
yeah,
Zapata,
yeah,
Zapata,
Ilicic, maybe.
Yeah,
perhaps. Yeah, I guess.
I'd rather see a Fiorentina finish fourth if we're gonna.
That's not happening.
I don't
I
want
know.
none of those young. I don't want
But
those kids to get battered.
I was gonna say, apologies. I was gonna say that why don't they just go the Fiorentina route and just develop them? Well, that takes a bit longer, right?
Yeah.
But that's only going to get you so far. That's only going to get you to the point of where those guys in one swoop can all get taken away in a transfer.
That's right, and that's what.
And
happened.
then you're back at zero.
But that's what happened with Roma. They lost.
Mhm.
They lost Salah. They lost.
Well,
Allison.
Alisson shortly after.
Right. So that's a 1-2 punch for a team like Roma to lose those two players. That sets the project back 2 to 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Well, I think the fact that they've poorly invested that money is even worse.
Yeah,
that too.
Your defenders are still Fazio and Manolas.
Yeah,
That benefits Juve too, that they don't develop those top players as well, where they kind of poach them from the mid-table clubs and then bring them to Juventus and kind of instill that mentality of what it's like to be there. But I don't see any big club really abroad that's gonna look at him and be like, yeah, we're gonna spend X amount of money to bring him to one of the top clubs in England, which benefits them.
Yeah.
Perhaps Rodrigo, depending on where he goes, right? Paul was the one factor, but there was more to Paul than just the way that he played, right?
Yeah.
So that was the one difference. So
but
that
was there
Juve.
more to Paul at that time?
There was more to Paul because he had, and we've been over this on countless occasions, where he had the foundation where he was able to have the freedom to express himself.
Right.
Where he had Vidal, where he had Vidal, Pirlo, Marquisio. At one point, Sturaro was playing in there as well, where they were able to do the dirty work for him, and he was able to be on the end of things. Because that's kind of what sold them. Because no one in England was talking about, oh, well, can Paul play in this position in midfield?
No.
Can he play deep? They were just looking at the goals.
Right. And that marketing machine of Paul Pogba that he is now wasn't as big as it was back at that point.
But the potential was there.
Yeah.
Because of who he was, the Instagram, his Instagram and social media presence, the wacky hair.
The marketing.
Yeah.
He had that Adidas sponsorship while he was at Juventus, so that all helped.
Yeah,
exponentially raised that transfer price.
Yeah, we did all this, and we didn't talk about Milan beating Atalanta. But Piatek scored again.
Celebration lives on.
Do you care?
I kind of like the gunshots. Maybe he listens to our podcast.
No, he doesn't.
I think they've made a couple.
I thought Fabs was going to say yes because of the gunshots.
Yeah.
No, they've definitely made a couple good signings, but where do they go from here? I think you need a new manager because Gattuso isn't going to be the guy that's going to lead you back to success like you've had in history.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still do need pieces. Like Piatek, he's doing it right now in a short span, but is over the span of a whole season, is he going to be able to keep up the pace for a long period of time? You're going to need secondary scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Suso and Kalahanoglu are the guys to be their game in and game out.
No.
Yeah, get rid of Suso. That's one of the first things. But
I like Paqueta. I like the midfield. Can Bakayoko have a second season like this if they choose to keep him?
Well, the rumor is that they wanna keep him in that midfield.
I've said it again. I'm still not sold on the center backs.
No.
They've been good this season.
And
I'm not sold on Ricardo Rodriguez.
And Donnarumma didn't have a fantastic display either. That goal that I know I'm hard on goalkeepers, but
you could do it this week.
thank God, because that goal's got to be saved.
Yeah.
I know that he's
which is more credit for them coming back after that goal. I thought
they didn't do much.
Who?
But that's just me being
Milan.
That's just me being very picky.
Milan or Atalanta?
Milan.
Okay. But that's a game that they lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A month ago, 2 months ago, when they're not playing well, that is a game that they lose.
But that's
1-0 down away. There's no way they find a way to get back.
But that's not because of.
They also got fortunate the timing of the Piatek goal.
Yes.
Because he pulls that out of nowhere 30 seconds before the first half ends.
And I was having a conversation with someone about that this weekend, and that's the difference between bringing him in and giving Higuain away. As highly as I rate Higuain, and I thought he started his time at Milan very well, but towards the end, and I would like to kind of put it when he got sent off against Juventus.
Yeah.
After that, we saw there was just no enthusiasm, no work rate, misplacing 5-yard passes consistently, just not doing enough. And he did play better with Cotrone when Gattuso did throw that card and he could play in behind him. But with Piatek, we can argue another day as to whether he's better than Higuain, but there's just more work rate, more movement. He offers you something different, and he could finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that, although Milan doesn't really improve that much, although Paqueta does offer you something different in that midfield, just that extra bit of work rate and that extra bit of movement is so much, given that they don't really have any creators in that side. Because Suso's going to do what he's going to do. Drop deep, cross into the box, drop deep, cut in, try and shoot. Çalhanoğlu, very inconsistent, wants to cut in from the left, wants to shoot as well, pretty much. And then they've been lucky that Bakayoko, the league works for Bakayoko because it's slower. The tempo is slow. No one's really going to press you. It's about organization.
Yeah.
It's about protecting the zones, ensuring that those zones are clogged. So he's able to dribble past opponents and use his strength. So it kind of works in his favor. So I think that there is a large possibility, given whoever comes in next, that he can sustain that. But I also feel like he moved to the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong manager.
I think it also shows what a little bit of confidence does for you too.
Yeah.
Because now that team is full of it.
Yeah.
When Higuain was there and they went through a rough patch, there was zero confidence in that side.
Because I don't think you can give any credit to Gennaro in this revival of this AC Milan team. It's not that he's doing that much differently than he was before. I think you add a couple players in the transfer window and good piece of business to them, and all of a sudden they could kick on and finish maybe even third, depending on what happens at Inter over there. The gap's only 6 points, I believe, between four. Okay,
I'm not gonna comment on that this week
Yeah,
because that could go really far into what I just said about Inter, and it's Monday and I love Mondays, and I'm not gonna get negative vibes over Inter or Milan this weekend. Okay. Anything else in Serie A that happened before we quickly wrap this up?
No.
That
was very long-winded.
No,
I feel like you have something that you want to say.
No, I don't, because I don't want to get into the Fiorentina Spal incident. So that's for another day.
It's your bar. So.
Yeah, I don't care. Jimmy, I feel bad that we always have to make Jimmy wait until the last 20 minutes to talk about Bayern.
What do you mean? We gave him the start of one episode 3 weeks ago.
And it didn't work well.
And you roasted me on that.
No, I roasted him because he was behind it. Probably.
He
Definitely behind it. Yeah, he was behind it. Anything matter? I know Dortmund kick off today. I watched Gladbach and they didn't win because
Thorgan didn't score?
Yeah.
Didn't score.
If Thorgan scores, they win. We should check that stat up one day.
You're going to make me go find that
stat.
Yeah.
You should do something.
I think Munich just have to find a way to not let in goals. Because
I
feel like that's almost like the narrative of their season is their defending has been woeful. Like you let in a goal literally 40 seconds into the game.
13.
Oh, sorry, whatever.
It was off the kickoff.
Yeah, so that's not good enough.
Yeah.
And if that's what they're taking into their Champions League matchup, then it's going to be a rough 2 legs, which I hope doesn't turn into be. But at this point, if there's anyone that can make you pay for mistakes, it's Liverpool.
Did they travel to Anfield for their first game? Yes, right?
Yeah. So that really sets the tempo.
Yeah. Because Bayern came first.
Yeah.
All right, that's right.
That really sets the tempo because, like I told you in the group stage, that's not a place that you want to be right now. And
not according to Arjen Robben, by the way.
Okay. Why? What did he say?
He said it's not an intimidating place to play, and I hate playing at Liverpool.
But he's lying because
he hates it or it isn't intimidating?
It's not intimidating.
So then why does he hate playing there if it's not intimidating?
And whenever he played there, he didn't win.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he was in that 2004, 2005, the goal school, but he was there in 2007. I'm pretty sure he missed a penalty. He did miss a penalty.
He did.
And they got knocked out of the semifinals.
I think it's his time back in England.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't care what he has to say. That's a very tough place for them to go. And the way that they've kind of crumbled under the pressure, and crumble is an understatement. I don't know. They need to get a result there.
And they haven't traveled well either this year.
Yeah.
Both domestically and in Europe. So if they go to Anfield and
get rocked,
I was gonna say get battered, 2 or 3, that's gonna be a tough return. Like
that's something where perhaps I would not argue with them because they don't have the stomach and the manager or the mentality to get through that. We've seen that in the past when they've been under Pep. where they've gone down the first leg and haven't been able to recover. And this side definitely doesn't fit that MO. And that's a tough place to go. So although they are an infinitely better team at home, just not good enough. So we'll see how that goes. You guys took nothing from that game.
Out of that,
I mean, there's great work and effort from, I forgot
Kingsley?
who they played.
Augsburg.
The second Kadira tried to be as good as Sammy.
Well, if he had any
You love the brothers.
Yeah.
if he had any sort
No,
of
fuck.
control, he could have maybe made that game interesting.
I know.
That first touch reminds me of some touches I see on Tuesday night at Coed.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Kingsley has been their best player this season, and if anyone wants to argue that, we can next week.
Did Alfonso get on the field?
No, he didn't.
No. And I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't at Anfield.
Hey, that would be that.
That's a bad sign.
You want to talk about
A Canadian heritage moment.
That's right. I was just about to say. You want to talk about Twitter going wild? Well, if Alfonso Davies steps on the pitch at Anfield,
If that happens, all of a sudden Sportsnet's going to get the rights.
That-
And it's going to appear on your TV.
that's right.
Somehow they're going to buy the rights.
Breaking news. You're gonna see James running in. No, that would be bad because he'd crumble under that pressure. That's a lot.
For a 19-year-old
Yeah.
kid, yeah.
And when you have Gigi and James and Trent or Robertson
That's it.
running at you,
Yeah.
looking to kill, that is not good. So I hope they protect him and he doesn't play in that game.
Just quickly, I think, but if on the flip side, if they do somehow get a result, get out of this tie, I think it could change the narrative of the season where it could push them to battle back. Well, they're within touching distance of Dortmund. That's not out of the way, but it could be the thing that revitalizes their season if they manage to get out of it. So I think it could also go both ways.
And if they don't, does the season crumble or
no, I think they're just back at square one.
No, yeah, they
based
know
off who they're playing. It's not like you're losing the tie to Porto,
right?
Yeah,
because then that's where the season shifts negatively.
Right.
But if you lose to Liverpool over 2 legs, as long as you don't get battered, hopefully Liverpool were the better side. You just lost to them.
Right.
Take it and go.
Yeah.
I think they should be. They should be fine.
I don't think it's going to be as lopsided as people think. That's all. That's my thing for it.
But we're gonna have a lot of conversations about a few players on both sides, depending on the result. Robert's one of them, because a lot of people are putting pressure on him on social media to deliver now, because he hasn't delivered since like 2012, 2013. But that's not me. But a lot of people are.
It's gonna be that's gonna be a battle I'm looking forward to seeing him against Van Dijk.
Yeah, and that, I want to hear what Jimmy has to say about him actually too.
We'll have him on the podcast.
I keep hearing that, but I don't see him.
He's going to call in.
No.
We don't do a call in
the flesh. Yeah, maybe is Jimmy intimidated?
He's not intimidated very much.
Okay, I just want to ask. But is that all?
PSG won. Whatever that
Mbappe
matters.
scored. Yeah.
Scored 100 goals in training. I saw that on Instagram.
Anyway,
I wish I would keep track of my stats in training.
is that all? I'm trying to get Dan to where he needs to be because
Yeah.
I don't really care about Mbappe doing that against Saint-Étienne.
That is all.
We've been there. We've done that. We talked about MLS. We could kill TFC on Tuesday. I really hope we don't. I hope they win.
Well, we'll be back on Thursday. So
Thursday. Yeah. So
We'll have something to say about that.
And I hope Timmy's Dave does say something. Last question. When should I message Curtis just to make sure that
A month out.
A month out, which is like March?
Middle of March.
Because the first game is the same day as
TFC. I think it's like the 24th or the 27th.
27th, I believe.
Something along those lines. Whatever that.
Which is
weekend
also talking about poor marketing. That's also not a great
That's
idea.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys don't want to message him, I will. I have a lot of questions to ask, and I would prefer to do it in person, but I don't.
I don't know him
So you're
personally.
gonna have to go to the season opener because I'm sure you'll find them somewhere.
No. See, that's no.
Well, you can't have questions and not want to go see him.
At Tim Hortons Field. You can bring my father with you.
Are you going? You going to the game? You didn't buy him tickets to the game?
No.
Is that around Father's Day?
I don't know.
Isn't Father's Day in March?
Not March. Father's Day is June.
Is it June? Oh, well, sorry, Dad. Shows how much
well, I just gave you a gift idea. I think Curtis would be the perfect person to have here for a lot of reasons. But
Are you inviting him?
no,
Oh, okay.
that is a group decision. But I feel like he would be a great person to question and know where the direction that league is
Well,
going.
somebody-
Timmy's Dave is not going to give us the answers.
By the way, somebody did ask him that question. If it was a bad idea to have it on the same day as TFC, and he's like, "Oh, people would go watch both." Like, no.
So he answered it.
I don't know much about that travel, but I don't think that's.
No, he
No.
said that after the game, you could go to the bar next to Tim Hortons field, or there are plenty of bars around that you could go watch the game.
He doesn't mean physically attend both games.
No.
Oh, okay. That's
No.
what I thought you were saying.
No.
No.
Sorry, to watch both. But you know what? I'm telling you right
Which
now.
game's first?
Don't do that.
Don't
do that.
The CPL one.
Don't do it.
All I'm saying is that if I watch an MLS game and then I go watch a CPL game, that's not going to leave a good first impression in my mind.
See, don't go there. I'm gonna
Okay, well, if nobody else is, I will be.
Okay, well, I'll leave that there because I feel like he answered that the way that you guys would answer that about any Premier League side. So I see where he is.
I see. Okay, I appreciate the amount of credit you give us.
You guys are PR.
We're on the level of Curtis.
You are PR.
Well trained.
Yeah.
Well trained.
Give the good answers.
Is that all for today?
That's everything.
Okay, Dan, you got somewhere to be. InnerViews Podcast. This was episode 59. If you guys did enjoy it, you can find it on iTunes, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify. If you have an Android device, I'm actually going to ask someone this week what Android apps they use so I could get that clear because you have an Android and you can't give me a specific app that you
I
use.
told you,
That's a
Podcast
problem.
Addict.
If you have an Android app, use Podcast Addict or whatever Android app that you do use. You can find us on youtube.com/theinnerviews. We upload videos every day. You can find us also on facebook.com/interviews. Like and follow and like. Twitter, Instagram, the Interviews TV. You could engage in conversation with us. I do retweet Fabs and Dan on the regular when Dan decides to tweet and when Fabs does it decide to engage with the viewer. He's been doing very well, and I expect to see Dan there post Tuesday because TFC is back in action. Do you do that with TFC Live?
Yeah, I do.
You engage with them?
Yeah.
Perfect. They don't like me. They definitely will like you.
He's our new way in.
Yeah, you are the face. You and Fabs are the face. They don't like me, so that is perfect.
Oh,
So-
I'm gonna put you in the comment.
do not put me in any of the comments because that's when I have to be the guy that I don't want to be.
Okay.
So we'll leave that there. Instagram, we post photos and videos. If you do miss the podcast, we can update you there with all that content. We've been slacking, but we're going to get Fabs back to work very soon. Right, Fabs?
Yep.
And with that being said, if you guys have nothing else to say and Dan has to be somewhere, we also have to be somewhere too. Chelsea kicks off in an hour or so, so we have to go do that. And nothing else?
We're good.
We're good. Okay, that was the InnerViews Podcast, episode 59. It's your guy Tyrrell.
It's Fab.
Dan.
And we're out.